You are on Kitty Ghost Star Life Journey, and we're going to be speaking about Charlie Kirk. Now, honestly, I heard of his name, never followed him, never listened to his debates or anything like that. I finally got a chance to actually hear him. It's interesting. I can see it kind of like, he believed in what he believed in. So, but anyways, let's get into it. Who is Charlie Kirk? It is so funny because he went by Charles James Kirk because the guy that shot him is Tyler James Robinson. They both had the middle name James. I just find that, it's interesting. It's all. I don't know if that's a connection. It's probably not. I'm not even going to look into it because things happen for a reason. That's why when things happen, I'm just like, oh, it probably was meant, but things will be learned, either on this side or the other side. Something is going to get learned. So this is just school for us on this side. So anyways, so Charles James Kirk, he was born October 14th, 1993, and he died was assassinated September 10th, 2025. He was an American right-wing political activist, entrepreneur, and media personality. He co-founded the conservative student organization Turning Point USA in 2012 and served as its executive director until his assassination in 2025. So he was born and raised in the Chicago suburbs of Arlington Heights and Prospect Heights. He was already politically active in high school. Hey, we both have something in common there. Me too. Cool. And he briefly attended college before dropping out to focus on building TPUSA with political donor Bill Montgomery. Wow. I mean, we kind of got things in common over here, but I didn't do something like what he did with the political type thing, like actually pursue that. So he advocated for a range of conservative positions, including opposition to abortion, gun control, DEI programs, and LGBTQ rights. He aligned with Christian right and advocated for Christian nationalism. His more controversial positions included criticism of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Martin Luther King Jr., as well as promotion of COVID-19 misinformation, false allegations of electoral fraud in 2020, and the white genocide conspiracy theory. All right. I want to know his early life. So yeah, we know he was from Chicago. His father was an architect who was involved in the construction of Trump Tower. Wow. So his mother was a former trader at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange who subsequently worked as a mental health counselor. He described his parents as moderate Republicans, conservative, and he was raised in the Presbyterian Church. He was a member of the Boy Scouts. Funny. I'm sorry. Anyways. And he experienced a political awakening in middle school, during which he read books by economist Milton Friedman and became more attracted to the principles of the Republican Party. I mean, I like how he, went into like wanting to rebel, in a political way. Like he wanted to learn things. And that's how I see him. Like an activist. I'm not against that at all. Everyone has their views. It can either be like, black and white, or it can be like you're really hitting towards God's consciousness. Like you're fighting for something. When I listen to his debates, honestly, I just felt like he was one-sided with a lot of things. This is what he believed in, and he stood his ground. There was times where he would have arguments with some of the kids, or I call them kids because that was his target, was more of the youth. And I question, why would he target more of the youth when he could have went more towards the adult world? But the youth, we all know that they're the ones that they're still sponges. And but you got very smart youths out there. They were questioning you. And that's what a lot of them came up to do, to him, question things. I see both sides. I just wished Kirk came out more with love. It seemed like he wanted to kind of charge people with his authority or whatever that was. Like he was just hardcore and the answers that he gave, and it was what it is. That was it. Move along, next person. And I don't know, it's like he just pushed them to the side and did not give them the compassion that they needed. That's one thing I didn't agree with when it came to Charlie Kirk. He wasn't a compassionate speaker. He was just very hardcore, and that was that. Also, there was this one guy though, and he was a veteran. He actually challenged Kirk. I don't know, he spoke about the Israelites. He spoke about the Jews, New World Order, and all this stuff, and the end of the world. And he made certain points here and there. There was just things I of course I didn't agree with, but he kind of woke Kirk up on some things. And that's the thing, like when Kirk actually got hit with a brick, you can see him processing. Like, you will see it. He'll stumble on something, like his word or whatever, because he's trying to process and come back with what he needs to say. When he knows what he knows, he just directly comes back with an answer. And some people will literally stump him, and he'd be like, he'd be processing. You can see it in his face. But that one veteran, the reason why he was not, he didn't serve fully in the military is because they wanted to jab him, like give him the COVID-19 shot. And that's the reason why he left. He opened Kirk's mind on some theories and even things that I didn't even know about, like the 9/11, about those passports that was just mysteriously placed on the ground or something. Like it was not touched, or it was like new passports where everything was just like burnt up, but these passports was found. Very interesting. 9/11, that was crazy stuff. I will admit that was crazy stuff. I always thought, yeah, that was a setup. I mean, I'm just being honest. I like the fact that, when he gets challenged, he doesn't know what to say. But that's good. That's good, because he can go back, hopefully in solitude, and think about what he needs to think about so he can grow. That's what I like. I want to see him grow. You can see him however you want to see him, view him however you want. But I see him as a dignified man. He challenged the books, the status quo. And I feel like he did want the good to prosper. I felt that within his heart. I felt something. Definitely he wanted to be respected. When you come to his place, when you show up in front of him, respect him. He wanted that respect. He did get it from the crowd. They clapped whenever they think he said something very intelligent. The way he said things, it sound intelligent, but was it thought out from the heart? No. I didn't feel anything. It was just more like a jab. Like, he'll jab you with his words, and that was that. I'm like, dude, like, calm your ass down with that. When he talk, he goes for it. No compassion for any of the youth. No compassion. Like, he knows what he knows, and this is how it goes. So, I'm just saying. But this is me, like, freshly from my eyes. Like I said, I've never seen Charlie Kirk. Back in 2025, I never forget, it was so weird. Yeah, I was at this club, right? I just got out of solitude. Literally, I just got out of solitude. And I thought, hey, let me go, like, mingle with some people. Why not? And yeah, I go to this club and I'm just like hanging out with them, and we're all talking, listening to the music, and all of a sudden the DJ says something about Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, who the hell is Charlie Kirk? But people, I don't know, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I was so disturbed though, because they was actually celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and I didn't know why. And they told me why, but because he went against a lot of people, even the LGBTQ plus misogynist, or all these things, they racism. So I'm like, okay. I was so disturbed because they was telling me things, and they could see I was having a good time with them until they started celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And then they looked at me because they saw that I was down in spirits. Who celebrates a fucking death. Like, I don't care what the hell he's done. I mean, shoot, I know, right? I mean, I that's the first time me hearing about Charlie Kirk back in 2025. And I still never looked him up, never cared to, because I just felt like there was too much hate going on. It was like two sides, it was divided, and I didn't want to get into that. I just got out of solitude, like working on myself to be more of this being, like higher vibration, and to go back into like the world where people are still in this 3D dimension, and some of them 2D. I swear to goodness, 2D. And I'm like, how the hell did you get to 2D? Like, how does that even exist? But no, it's just people minds. They have not completely developed out of this stuff yet. So imagine someone like me coming back like, hey, people, hey, I hate this. I'm like, wait, what? Crazy, crazy, crazy. But anyways, so as I was saying, he saw things for what it was, for what it is. It was black and white. It was like his viewpoints was very black and white. I did feel like he needed answers to the universe, like he wanted to explore more of that. I felt like he did care about humanity. Of course, he talked a lot, and I feel like he got through rough times, even when he thought he couldn't make it. And when I was listening to one of his debates, he was telling somebody about, to the crowd, he was telling them like, yeah, there's times where he think he's going to get killed, assassinated. There's people who actually tried to assassinate him, many people. He said that. I was like, well, gosh darn, that's insane. That should tell him something though, right? To evolve, because there's people out here, there's so many views that people have. You have to see it from a kind heart. You have to come out from kindness. Charlie Kirk did not do that. I'm so honest. Watching him, his debates, he did not come with love. Again, it was black and white. This is what he knows. And people's like, no, it's the truth. All this is the truth. No. To speak about Christianity, I'm not into this. I don't believe in any religion. I don't rep that. I am more of a spiritual being. So I constantly work on myself to evolve. But with the religion thing, Christianity, you're supposed to speak of love. Everybody has an opinion, especially when it comes to religion. I came from a place where I wanted to practice like spirituality. When I was very young, 12 years old, I wanted to study Buddhism because I thought it was the better way to go. And it was a lot of enlightenment in that. And I just kept going from there. I even explored a little bit of Christianity, but I just don't like it's like there's a limit somewhere. Like, you can't be this, you can't be that. You're not a woman of God. You're not a man of God. It's because you do this, because you do that. Like, seriously, what's up with the judgment? What happened with that? That's not coming from love. That's not coming from your heart. It's good to be yourself, who you are as a being. Everyone is God. We just all trying to evolve here. That's it. I can see you. You can see me. You're supposed to if you're on that level. And again, it's love. God is everywhere. God is freaking in this mic right now as we speak. God is energy. God is on this freaking table, this chair that I'm sitting in, everywhere. God never disappear. Is God right there. God is energy. But again, you can't really speak to people who are on black and white. You have to let them just search for their answers, and I'm sure they will find what they want to find, and that's great. I won't say nothing about that because that's what they believe in. That's their journey. My journey is going to be a lot different. That's why I'm not going to really have that many friends or whatever, because I'm not on that level over here. I just can't do that. And I'm okay with that. Again, I'm still evolving. I'm still learning, and I love to learn. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. I feel like he was a righteous man. Like, he understood right from wrong. He definitely didn't want to die. Definitely didn't want that. I mean, come on, he had a family. He had his life. I think he was searching for love. I think he was searching for love from the universe, though. something with the universe. He was very, like, he wanted to know more. He wanted the key to that. The angels above, his calling. He wanted to know more about, like, where to go with that. Yeah, and he wanted to prosper. He wanted to explore his ideas, share them with the crowd. And I do feel like he wanted to be a better man. Search, you should find. He was constantly looking for answers. He was looking for answers to find the key to success. And to not look back. Keep moving forward. Did Charlie Kirk know that he was going to be assassinated? No, he had no knowledge of that. So there you go. Now we're going to jump into Tyler James Robinson. Let's get more scoop on him. And I actually have a lot more to say about Tyler. I do. Who is Tyler James Robinson? Tyler James Robinson was born April 16th, 2003, was identified as a suspect. The day after his shooting, his parents convinced him to come to their residence in Washington, Utah, after they recognized his likeness from news images that authorities alleged were of the shooter. So Robinson, he allegedly implied that he was the shooter and that he planned on committing suicide. And I definitely see that in him, like he would hurt himself. I read that as soon as I looked at him. He has this suicidal thing about him, and I'm gonna dig more deeper into him. There's things that I'm still trying to understand about Tyler, because it's really deep when you have issues within yourself. I'll tell you more. He was afraid that the police SWAT team was gonna like shoot him or something like that, be killed by them. But his parents contacted the family friend, the retired detective. They made arrangements for Robinson to surrender, and they took him into custody without incident. So, okay, the son of a social worker and a business owner, Robinson was raised in Washington, Utah, with two younger brothers. Grandmother said most of the family is Republicans, and she did not know a single Democrat in there. I had to look at some of the pictures on Facebook. Yeah, I saw child photographs showing the Robinson family on trips, just shoot guns and see weapons displays. A lot with the father. I saw that a lot with the father. I mean, he was also a ex-veteran law enforcer guy. They even visited the military facility in 2017. So Governor Spence Scott said on September 12th that Robinson was the only suspect. The manhunt lasted 33 hours. Prosecutors filed 7 charges against Robinson, including aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering. If he is found guilty of aggravated murder, Robinson could face the death penalty. And investigators, so they interviewed Robinson's roommate and romantic partner, who is not considered a suspect. His partner was described as being aghast and shocked by the shooting and denied having any knowledge of the crime. And I definitely believe him. I had to look at him. I believe him. I do feel like they shared the same viewpoint and they loved each other. And as far as that, he had no knowledge of what, Tyler was going to do. Whatever Tyler planned, that was more like his tunnel vision. That was his project. He was, aimed to do what he was going to do. So Governor Cox said that the roommate, he had been very cooperative with investigators and turned over private messages incriminating Robinson, which discussed the need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush. Messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. So the messages referenced a scope and engraved bullets. So the roommate, he was put under FBI protection until January 15th, 2026. So the roommate claimed that after Robinson returned home the night of the shooting, he began to cry, saying that he wished he never did it. The roommate also claimed that the following day, Robinson said that he intended on turning himself in. So on September 15th, the FBI announced that Robinson's DNA matched that found on a towel that was wrapped around the suspected rifle. There is definitely conspiracy theories about this, about Tyler James not being the shooter. Tyler James sounds like a Western cowboy name, by the way. Tyler James Robinson. Tyler James. Anyways, Tyler James Most Wanted. People who doubt that Tyler Robinson killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk primarily base their skepticism on internet conspiracy theories and arguments. You have the 6'3" theory. A prominent online conspiracy theory emerged claiming that the actual shooter was between 6'2" and 6'3". The camera angle comparisons, skeptics claim that the height profile does not match Tyler Robinson. And okay, so during a July 2026 preliminary hearing in Provo, Utah, Robinson's defense attorney, Michael Burt, heavily scrutinized the FBI forensic analyst, pretty much saying that DNA samples recovered from the scene of the weapon, it was degraded. So the mixed DNA profiles, it was a mixture of multiple people's profiles. They noted that Robinson's father was also flagged as a potential contributor, pointing out that forensic testing cannot determine how or when Robinson's DNA got onto that firearm. So I'm going to tell you what I think. I definitely think that Tyler James Robinson, I know, committed the murder. He assassinated Charlie Kirk. So I believe that. You would want to know, like, why? Why would he do something like that? Of course, Charlie Kirk, his views was, again, black and white. Not a lot of people believed in his views. And they kind of just saw it as, like, being insensitive. He wasn't coming from the heart. I do feel like he wanted to exploit Charlie Kirk. Like, boom. Assassinate him, kill him. Tyler James, he also was searching for the truth, like the key to the universe. He wanted to know more. He wanted to find himself. I feel like he wanted that. And something about the congressmen, wanted them to learn their mistakes. Most of the congressmen, people, whatever, the Republicans, dude, like I was looking up some of this stuff that some of them was saying, like, for example, freaking Mike Kelly. So Mike Kelly, he's like a congressman for Pennsylvania, I believe. I don't want to spend too much time on him. It was an article that I read, and I think it was a Newsweek article defending President Donald Trump from accusations of racism, calling on Americans to have thicker skin and declaring himself a person of color. Kelly accused Trump's Progressive Squad critics of being anti-Semitic and described how his ancestry as a white man of Irish and German ancestry makes himself a person of color. And Kelly complained Trump is unfairly held to a much higher standard than a regular citizen, and later issued a statement claiming the audio of his own words were mischaracterized by a reporter. He began to say, they talk about people of color. I'm a person of color. I'm white. I'm an Anglo-Saxon. People say things all the time, but I don't get offended. When a name like Mike Kelly, you can't be from any place else but Ireland. R. He did not say R, but you get my point. So, he represented, Donald Trump, standing up for him. Anything racist that was said, he backed Trump. He's cool with that. The way I see it, if you have to defend someone who speaks racist remarks, then I feel like you're a racist. Now, that might not be true, but this is how he's defending a racist. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think this, because I'm thinking of 1984. Really, it has nothing to do with the race thing. He's just backing him. This is a distraction, by the way. They're on another level with this. Again, this is 1984. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. This ruling regime is to enforce, like, the double think and it's to control the minds of the citizens. So everything is backwards, where you may see war as peace, and this is how they speak. Everything is backwards. If you noticed or not, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But that's what I see. So if he's defending racism, that's the team he works for. It has nothing to do with race with them anyways. If you take it to the American people, they will see it as that for sure. For sure. But again, it is a distraction. It's not real. It's an illusion. Everything is an illusion. And we are in 1984, people. I'm being dead honest. It's pretty sad, but move this way, go this way. Getting back on Tyler James, I felt like he understood the pros and cons behind killing Charlie Kirk. The pro to him was to eliminate the problem. The solution was to eliminate Charlie Kirk. The con, of course, killing Kirk, it was like a failure in his life, like hurt and pain. It hurt him. Like he began to feel like remorse. That's what he felt, remorse. He did want to disrespect the law, but when I say disrespect the law, he wanted to overthrow the power. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's like to overthrow a government or a leader. And Charlie Kirk was more like a leader, means to remove him from power, usually by force, to dispose of him. Because there's a lot of things he did not agree with, of course, a lot of Charlie Kirk's views. But again, you have to see it. A lot of people didn't agree with Kirk as well. At that time, he was not into the repercussions of what would happen next when he shot Kirk. I think he had the tunnel vision when to go in, do what he has to do, and then leave. It was interesting. It's something he had to do. It's like you have a mission and you do it. But then he crumbled at the end. He felt bad about it. And he wanted to play the game. Now, I don't know what that technically means, but he wanted to play the game. Makes me wonder, did he and somebody, and I'm not trying to say anything like that. I think it was just him. It's like Tyler James had a battle within himself. There was something mentally going on there, fighting himself. It's interesting. A lot of people have it now. Not everybody is exempt from this. We all go through these battles all the time. So it became playing the game, pursuing the target. Yeah, I can do it. I can pursue this target. I can eliminate him. I can do it. Yeah. And take him out. And when I talk about that mind thing, fighting himself, he wanted to restore balance. And he thought that, hey, if I do this, then I will restore balance. I can see why he crumbled at the end. It didn't help. He felt remorse. He went in there thinking he could do this. He can be that killer. He's good. He's going to do it. But the whole time he didn't know that, wow, he has a heart. So he's trying to restore balance within himself, trying to restore the happiness, the pleasures and gains within him. Again, if he thought he shot Charlie Kirk, he'll be balanced. And he wanted justice. The end game to all of this was definitely to restore the balance to himself, which didn't work out. He wanted justice for all, to end warfare. When I say warfare, what do I mean by that? To end an establishment of life crisis, hurt and pain, existential, or an identity crisis. So I think he was going possibly through confusion, something within him. It was a battle, but this all stems from somewhere. I'll get to that. He had a lot of hurt and pain, and I felt like he wanted to get even with God. Yeah, and it was more like the battle he had going on mentally, the war that was within him, the back and forth. So to end war crisis within yourself, it's resolving the psychological conflict between your thoughts, your values, your action. It involves moving from a state of mental exhaustion and self-sabotage to self-acceptance, alignment, and emotional clarity. So I think he just thought that all these things would help him if he would just to cleanse Charlie Kirk out, kill him, eliminate him completely. There's people with mental issues, and they think that if they take something out of the equation, it will make them better. They gained something from it, But Tyler James, he came back to his senses. He has a heart. Again, this stems from somewhere. This happened for a reason. And I'm going to take it to the family. Yes. Let's take it to the family right now. Let's do it. Okay. Tyler James' father. So Matt Robinson is a resident of Washington, Utah. He runs a local business installing kitchen countertops. And he is like a veteran law enforcement officer. I felt like he believes in the Constitution. Now, I don't know where this mass destruction stuff is coming from. Isn't that weapons? Mass destruction? What is mass destruction? So mass destruction refers to catastrophic large-scale death, injury, or devastation to a population, city, or environment. So it's like the context of warfare and terrorism to describe the indiscriminate effects of high-impact weaponry. Weapons of mass destruction, I mean, I can get into that, but do I want? Nah. Okay. I believe he was into like guns and stuff like that, weapons, but mass destruction comes up. It does. And I felt like he had something he went through in his past. And again, I'm not judging him. This is not judgment on anything like that. But I felt like he had some type of addiction. Past stuff. This is some past stuff. I mean, I just feel like that. Of course, he may have lost, control of himself at one point. But, you get help and he got help. He's good. So, yeah, nothing wrong with him. He sees things for what it is. He gives his honest opinions on things, and he dedicates his life to his position, his job, his career. Like he's very passionate. He dedicates himself to that. Now let's talk about the mother. The mother, she works as a licensed social worker based in Washington, Utah, and she was the first family member to suspect her son's involvement. After seeing FBI surveillance photos, stuff like that, she recognized him. She told investigators that her son had undergone a radical political shift over the year leading up to the shooting. She noted that he had become more left-leaning and supportive of LGBTQ plus rights, which caused intense ideological arguments with their conservative household. And there it is. That's what I needed to go to. That's what I picked up the whole entire time in this. He needed love. He needed support. The family didn't give him that. Instead, it was like his views was wrong. They are of Mormons, something like that, the Mormon faith, Latter-day Saints. So, okay, yes, they are of the Mormons. And so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints teaches that while having same-sex attraction is not a sin, acting on those feelings is. Consequently, they do not support the LGBTQ plus marriage or relationships. So 53% of Latter-day Saints support same-sex marriage. I just felt like they was against that. They did not support him on who he was as a person. It's like shaming someone made him feel bad about his decisions, about who he is. Like, it's wrong. He needed to know that balance is love, not the opposite. Like judging somebody. He needed to know that balance is love. He did not get that when he put his views out. This is who he is. The family didn't show that support. So I feel like that, in that perspective, it made Tyler James more into like, well, hey, then fuck it, So I just feel like they could have supported him better than what they did. It makes me wonder, like, if you can't support your son for who he is as a being, like, do you truly love him? But again, this is a journey. This is lessons to be learned. And they would have to figure that out. And I'm sure, like, down the line, they will. It wasn't the time for that. It led into, like, all this catastrophe, into, like, killing somebody like Charlie Kirk. He wanted to prove a point. He wanted to make that statement or whatever, he was trying to do. But I can see where Tyler was coming from. I can feel his pain within himself. He's going through a lot mentally, emotionally, battling. And everyone goes through crazy stuff, battling things within themselves. So, of course, people will act out. with the judgmental things that's going on in the world, people do certain things like this. He was literally going through a battle, and he thought that, if he was to kill somebody, he would come back to himself. Do you know how messed up that is to go through emotions like that? That's crazy. Like, maybe he needed that cleanse? That's pretty sad. And Charlie Kirk was the perfect target. Because Charlie Kirk was like his family. The same views, the black and white. Like, what? That's insane. It was because of the family. And they may not say it's their fault. They may not even say anything. I mean, come on. You got Tyler James, his mother, trying to take her pictures off of Facebook with her, like, holding these guns and stuff. Automatically, which means that she feels guilty about something. She feels guilty. They know. That family knows. That's actually between them. Even though this is an outward thing because it led into the killing of Kirk. So that has to be dealt with. He also did practice like shooting. He had gun experience, by the way. Tyler James had experience with guns. I mean, come on. The family was highly dealing with guns. Look at his father. They had their guns. And everybody being Republican, they stand by their guns. I'm not trying to say all Republicans. I don't know, okay? I don't know. But it's just what I see right here in this situation. But the whole thing is, no, the family, they did not accept him for his views. They did not accept his views on where he was pivoting, where he was going, and it was his lifestyle. A gay man. That was it. Do I think Tyler James Robinson deserved the death penalty? No. I think he learned his lesson, and he's going through it. This is an emotional thing, and he has to live with that now. But I do feel like speaking to his family, you know, they need to resolve whatever that is. It was like a miscommunication, and I do feel like there was some type of info being held back. So that's how I feel about this whole entire case. I understand, you know, for the people that are grieving Charlie Kirk, I understand, you know, I mean, in your community, you lost, you know, a leader, someone who spoke your views, and that's what you believe in. But you have to ask yourself, is it coming from love? Is all of that coming from love? Is this a you thing, a hate thing? Like, what's going on to not want to express yourself, to be of yourself? If you're this, if you're that, if you like this, if you like that, like, what keeps you back from thinking like, oh no, this is wrong? Like, what's going on with that? Did you know God is just an energy? God represents man, woman. God can be either or. God can love woman. God can love man. God is God. Woman, woman, man, 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 woman. God is energy. It doesn't matter. God is love. The God in you is the God in me. God is everything. God is the racist man over there or woman who came to challenge you. And the one who got challenged because of their race, sex, position in life, or whatever, they're also a God. Everyone is a God. The God in you. But once you see the bigger picture, that's when love has cleansed you, made you whole. Once you realize that, then you'll know. But that's all I need to say about the Charlie Kirk and Tyler James Robinson's case. I just hope everything gets solved the correct way. And not out of hate, just out of love. Anytime someone goes against who that person is, I mean, you're judging them. You're putting them down as a whole. And they're going to feel some type of way about that. You got to be careful of how you speak to people. These sensitive people, like, no, you have to see it for what it is. You can go out here and hurt people with your words. How come your words can't be more kinder? People go through enough anyways. Jeez, they get judged all the freaking time, and got to put a break on it. I can't change views of people. I mean, only if you want to go that route. Everybody is on a journey, the next chapter of themselves. We are all being challenged every single day. Every single day. We all are going to make decisions that's going to change us. I mean, we may go through phases like a 360. And I've been through many of that. 360s, oh my God. Let me tell you, I am officially about to be 4 years sober in September. I've came a long ways. But I know I got a long ways to go. I can't always go into solitude when people act funny. And I'm just like, what the? Like, oh my God, I just want to run and go back into isolation. I just want to run and go back to my solitude because this was my freedom. That was my freedom. And I'm learning and I'm going to keep learning. There is times where I do know I need to go in solitude, though. I know that for sure because I have to readjust something. I have to question myself. I have to question certain things and to fix something, you know. We all going through battles, okay? So I have to fix that battle within me. I have to question myself. Any little thing that challenges me. Again, we all go through it. But I advise people to do this in the correct way and not out of hate for yourself, for one another. You don't want to turn that hate thing into a disease, a mental health issue. But I'm going to end this out, and I just hope that everyone has a good day, a good night. Get into your love vibration. Try to love your neighbor, love whomever, love yourself. Take care of yourself for sure. Embrace one another with love. So I want to tell you, I love you and I love your journey. It is beautiful and it's going to be amazing. Trust me, it will. This is Kitty Gold Star. I am out.